Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video we're going to be looking at two items. The first one is the R&W Atmo, which is this lovely thing right here. It's simply a small atmospheric fighter, and the other thing is something that goes along with it, which is a mod that allows you to tilt the ship with your mouse, which makes flying feel a lot more natural. Anyway, pressing F10 and finding the R and W in the spawn menu, there we go. This thing is 385 small blocks using no DLC packs, and we can see there we've got the automated roll for ships, which is the mod that goes along with it, and it does appear to be getting rather foggy here, so I will have to sort that out. So what we're going to do is have a quick look around this ship. Then we're going to fly it around and see what that mod actually does. So at the very front here, we have got ourselves a nice red fighter cockpit, which has been surrounded by some red carbon fiber blocks. At the very front, we've got ourselves a rocket launcher with two Gatling guns to blast your enemies with. Then as we move around the side, we've got some lovely white wings that make it very sleek with its design. As we move along its body, we can see a bunch of batteries along the main portion of the body, as well as some atmospheric thrusters, which are sitting just below here. As we move along, we can see we've got some large atmospheric thrusters in the main body of the ship, and then we come along to the back where we've got some more white blocks and some white atmospheric thrusters. If I just pull out there, you'll see at the back on our little spoiler, or our little fins at the back, we've got some more large atmospheric thrusters to help us slow down, with a few more white blocks and some more red carbon fiber blocks, which all comes all the way along onto here. It's a little bit risky how it's been set up. One lucky rocket is going to pull that away, but it's not the end of the world. You can still stop this ship without those thrusters. If we come all the way down and below those thrusters, we can take a little looky right here, where we can see a small reactor just to keep this thing nice and topped off when those batteries need recharging. If we come up and above, we'll then be able to see along the top here where we've got our large atmospheric thrusters, a bunch more batteries, a programmable block, and some large batteries in there to make sure we can fly this thing with all those thrusters. Coming all the way down and underneath, let me just put my light on, we can then see the bottoms of our guns. We can see how the landing gear is being all neatly tucked away thanks to those blocks. We've got some spotlights there, we've got a camera there to make sure we can line this up all nice when trying to connect that connector. And we can see right here, just a small little access point for the fighter cockpit if you ever wanted to store stuff inside it. And as we move along towards the back under here, we see we've got some more spotlights right there, some more atmospheric thrusters. We can see the bottoms of the batteries, and then there we go. Whoop, we've gone under the grass. So that is that for the outside. It's got a very nice design, especially when you look at it from the top. Very streamlined, very much like a racing ship that should be put around a race course, but unfortunately I didn't think of that. But now it's time for me to take control of my character and see what we can do with this. So we're just going to lift this all the way up, and we'll go through them. So number one is going to be for our landing gear on and off, and number two to lock or unlock. Number three is for the spotlights that sit at the front, or interior lights even, so we just switch them on and off as you please. And number four will be to view straight down to help us connect our connector up, which is going to be what number five is about. Number six is to enable our mod, the automatic rolling mod, which is quite an interesting one because it does not use a programmable block. It simply uses the fighter cockpit and a remote control in order to make it function. But we'll come back to that a bit later. Number seven is to switch to our Gatling guns, so we just fire them at the front like so. And number eight for our rocket launcher. On tab number two, we then got controls for our gyroscopes, where if we turn that off, we can no longer move our mouse. And number two is for our thrusters on and off. 3 for the battery to auto or recharge. 4 for our antenna on and off. And number 5 for our programmable block, which is controlling our automatic LCD screens, which you can see in front of me right there. If I just turn away from the sun, hopefully you'll be able to get a better view of that. And so for a quick little thruster test without using the automatic rolling mod, let's go forwards. We can see we are pretty damn fast. Stopping as well is very good. And then if we come to a complete stop and go left, we're a lot slower than forwards and backwards. Same for the right. Then going down, we're pretty fast. And then going up, again, we are quite fast, but nowhere near as fast as forwards and backwards. Moving my mouse around, there's quite a lot of weight on this, surprisingly. It's a small ship, but it does have a little bit of drag when moving the mouse around. By now, let's activate the mod by pressing 6. Then I'm going to move my mouse around, and you can see from the bottom right where our little rotatey thing is, that we are tilting when I simply move left and right with my mouse. If I was to just hold forwards on my keyboard, then just turn my mouse around, you can see that we are just rotating around. We have to be very, very careful because it is very odd in Space Engineers to be doing this. But when we turn, we then just rotate ourselves with it, which allows us to do some very tight maneuvering. But you will need to do some kind of manual control, especially when you want to come to the stop like so. It will do it by itself eventually, but you will need to sometimes assist with it to make sure you don't go slamming into a tree like I almost did. So how does this mod work? So we add it through the mod menu like a regular mod, then we come over to our control panel, find our cockpit and scroll all the way down, where we'll see we'll have a new option. We have a simple on and off. If you don't want to use it, you can just switch it off for the moment. And you can also add it to your hotbar, such as this person has done right here on our number 6, where we can turn it on and off with a click of a button. We also have a secondary option, which is going to be the power. So this is going to be in relation to your gyroscopes, as it says there, where you can control the power of how fast you're going to turn over. So if we wank that all the way up, then turn my mouse around, you can see we are exceptionally sensitive with when we're trying to turn ourselves around, and it is borderline uncontrollable. But it might make sense for a much smaller fighter if you set it up like so, but it is very, very hard to actually make it controllable with this type of setting. So coming into this and then just whacking it all the way down, let's put it to around about 40. We're a lot less sensitive, but it's a hell of a lot more controllable. It feels very much like Elite Dangerous where you're flying your ship if you set yourself up to use the mouse. Sort of like this, well, it's at least how I've set my Elite Dangerous up. So what done is spawned in the Dex Fighter. Here we are. If I remember correctly, we do have some very sensitive gyroscopes. Let's just go and switch them all the way down to about 50%. Find our cockpit, scroll all the way down to where our mod is. Let's switch that on and just leave ourselves on 50% power. That means when we fly around now, we'll now start to tilt when I turn my mouse left and right. And here we go. We now just start shooting up that other ship. Slam ourselves into it. I thought I was going to avoid that, but oh well. And it looks like that plane is still in the air. I say plane, it's a ship. Wow, okay, so this thing is bloody solid for a head-on collision. It just shattered the Dex Fighter in two. Yes, we can just come back into here, switch this back on. And there we go, we just nudge it a little bit and fly under it. Where has it gone? It's still in the air. We're now slowly falling down because we don't really have the power anymore. I think I destroyed some of the batteries on this. So this is a very nice ship. It's got a very nice mod to go along with it if you want a bit more of fancier flying in your game. There'll be a link to both of them in the description below. And yeah, download them if you do want to try them out. So thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.